皆さん、こんにちは。アルファアドバイザーズの坂下です。今日は IMD の MBA の説明会をしていきたいと思います。昨日はシカゴのエグゼクティブ MBA ですね、シカゴブースのアドミッションの方と卒業生の方来てくださったんですけど、今日もそれに引き続いて、スイスにある IMD ですね。で、IMD は今日のタイトルにもある通り、本当に経営幹部の養成っていうのを主眼に置いていて、卒業生もマッキンゼーとかそういうマネージメントコンサルティングの方に行って、でそこから CXO みたいになっていく方もいれば、例えば Amazon とか GAFA のボーディングメンバーとして入っていったりとかですね、日本人の方も実は結構いて、でそこから20代、30代、あと40代の方も行ったりしてますし、1年間で終われる MBA なので、実はスイスにあってですね、とても人気があるプログラムです。で結構もともとは、例えばアメリカとか行きたいっていう方もいますし、あとはヨーロッパの方に行きたいなんていう方ですね。で、こういう IMD とかあるよっていうのを見てると、学校の特徴とかを見ていくうちに、皆さんすごく、やっぱ IMD 行きたいってなって受けて、アルファから行かれている方もたくさんいます。で、開始が1月で、そこから1年間。なので、入学時期がですね、通常のアメリカの MBA だと、ヨーロッパも含めて秋に始まるっていうことも多いんですけど、入学時期が1月で、次の締め切りが1月ですね、にあるということもあって、比較的、ちょっと時期的に秋入学よりは少し早く入学したいとか、入学時期をずらしたいっていう方にもぴったりかなと思います。でアルファでも、最近は、一人で行くっていう方もいますし、ご家族と一緒に、もうそのまま、むしろ、お子さんの教育も海外で受けさせたいし、やっぱりバイリンガルに育てたいとかですね、そういった方も多いので、スイスとか環境のいいところに行きたいという方も非常に多いです。で、今日は、アドミッションの方と、あとは、在校生、日本人の方にも来ていただいているので、学校の説明と、あと実際に生徒さんの声も聞いていきたいと思います。で、セッションは主に英語なんですけど、途中で皆さん質問とかコメントもぜひ入れていただければと思います。日本語で構いませんので、どんどん入れていただければと思います。はい。では、早速、最初はまずアドミッションの方からですね、学校の説明をしていただこうと思います。So, thank you for today's opportunity, and please start your presentation.
Great, thank you so much. So hello everyone. Thank you very much for being here today with us and to learn more about IMD's MBA program. As you might know, IMD is an executive education institution. So we offer a lot of executive programs to senior executives, but we also develop programs for certain companies, and we have a full-time MBA and an executive MBA. So today we're going to discuss about the full-time MBA. We'll give you a little overview of our mission and the content of the program, but also tell you more about the career development and the admissions process. In about 20 minutes, I'll be joined by one of our current Japanese MBA, so he will be able to speak and let you know about his personal experience during the year. So thank you for your attention, and I'll be starting the presentation. So we have three pillars in our program, which you can see, and I will develop in the coming slides. So one of our focus is really to develop reflective and responsible leadership. So it will be leaders as we defined as people who can make difficult decisions. So difficult decisions are decisions where you can argue both sides. So you could be for it and against it at the same time. And this is a difficult decision. So typically we'll be training you on that element, and also really making sure you understand yourself better through the leadership development stream. And you'll hear a lot about leadership development at IMD, because this is generally what our MBAs and our alumni have found was the most impactful for them in their future career and in their life in general. Our second pillar is really experiential learning. So it's not an academic master where you just have books to read. It's really 40% of what we do is hands-on, is practical, something where you can actually experience management and leadership in a real life context. And the third one is the personalized attention. You will see that you get a lot of support from the whole IMD community, and you can really tailor your program according to your needs. I mentioned a little bit on reflective and responsible leadership. The idea is really to start helping you understand and question a bit your own assumptions, understand what drives you, and where you come from. And this we will do, and I think we're the only school in the world to do that. We'll give you access to a psychoanalyst. So 20 sessions with a psychoanalyst, and you can ask our MBA then what it consists of, if this word is strange to you, and maybe even in the English word you don't know. So this psychoanalyst will be a one-to-one session, only you and him or her in a personal way, where you can start working on your life story and what has made you the person you are now, and what makes you happy, what makes you angry, who do you like working with, who is it more difficult to work with, so that you can really understand what's your leadership style. And once you understand what's your leadership style, you can adapt it, because other people have other needs. So if you are in front of another person, you can really start adapting your preferred style to the style of the person in front of you. That will be really one of the important parts. And then there is the whole you in a group setting. So we'll take you to different team building exercises where you'll be coached to understand better how you function in a group setting. The second value I mentioned was the experiential one. So here you see all the different elements of the program where teaching is happening, but not in a purely classroom setting. You start the year with the mountain experience. So as you know, IMD is based in Switzerland, and it's in the Swiss part, the French part of Switzerland, and we're not far away from the mountains. So we'll take you up to the mountains. Hopefully it snows, and there you get to do a lot of external exercises with your group, and that will be the first bonding that you have with them. And there is a lot of subject around sustainability as well during this mountain experience. Then you'll also have an opportunity to work with different companies during the year. One is through the startup projects. So for the first 3 months of the year, you will be paired with a startup company, and you will have to help them as a group to develop new business opportunities, to raise funds, to refine their ideas, to find a segment. So that's a good way for you to directly, even before having all the core business tools, to actually put in practice what you know and share your experience with your classmates. The second opportunity to work with a company is the international consulting projects that you see at the end. This is happening in September and October, and that's 7 weeks full time, where you work with an international company as consultants. So you set up a budget, you set up objectives, and most of the projects are abroad. So this year we had students traveling to the UAE, to Northern Europe, and some have gone to the US or to Asia. So it's a way for you to put everything you have learned during the program and experience it with the real client. So that's generally a very appreciated component of the program. And on top of that, you will have some smaller weeks where you have a special theme, like the innovation lab, the digital lab, where in a week's time you have to solve a problem, either through a design thinking process or through developing your own app and managing big data during the digital analytics lab. And on top of that, a lot of guest speakers. Most of the core courses have guest speakers. And there will also be a discovery expedition. So that's 10 days where we split the class, and you can choose 2 destinations to go to understand how business is done under different economical, social, and political context. So typically this year, the class was able to choose from Singapore, Silicon Valley, Dubai, and Argentina. And each of these countries had different scopes, and you could go to 2 of them. So that's the experiential part. I also mentioned it's a very personalized program. So it's about only 100 of you. There are 50 faculty full-time at IMD. So it's 1 faculty for 2 students. So that's rather a strong rate. You get your own psychoanalyst, you get your own career coach, your own leadership coach. The dean is available, the whole IMD staff is there for you. So it's really an opportunity for you to invest and develop the areas where you need it most. Briefly, this is an overview of the year. Before the program starts, you already have some little assignments in the career area, in the leadership area, and as well in finance and accounting. But what you will see is that the leadership, the sustainability, and the career stream really runs throughout the year. So these are the only streams that start even before the program and finish at the end of the program. So the leadership stream, I already mentioned it. Sustainability is a new element that has been entered in this format this year by our new dean. And basically in every core courses, so finance, strategy, innovation, accounting, operations, leadership, innovation, you will have a sustainability element. And the idea is that at the end of the program, you have the 10 key, let's say, tools that are required for a manager to lead nowadays with all the sustainability problematics and agenda that there is. A bit more on the career stream as well. So the career streams is split in 3 phases. The first one that runs the first 3 months is really, again, a self-assessment. So we need to understand what you have to offer, and you need to understand as well what you have to offer. So typically, we will ask you to do some online tests and also speak with your personal career coach to understand what do you have to offer as soft skills, as hard skills, as transferable skills, as very specific skills, and also the other phase, what would you like? And generally we ask you to think on a 10-year plan, and then 5-year plan, and post MBA. So if your 10-year plan is to go back to Japan, does it mean that and open your own company? I don't know. Does it mean that 5 years down the line you need to be in Japan, or can you still be somewhere else typically? So these would be the questions, not only to focus on your first job after the MBA, but how does this come in, or how does this align with what you want to do in the long term? So once you have a bit clarity on that, we'll give you all the tools to actually excel in presenting yourself to the external world. So how do you manage your LinkedIn profile? How do you ace online assessment centers, interview processes, cover letters, networking, salary negotiation? So all that will give you through classes. And then by June, once you know what you want, what you have to offer, and how to do it, we'll start exposing you to the alumni network, to our recruiters, through company presentation, networking opportunities, so that as of September, the first round's interviews can start. 70% of our MBAs find a job through the alumni network, through the IMD network. And that's either our alumni, the current class, our faculty, our recruiters. So that's, I would say, the main source of contact. And then we always say it should be a double strategy. So you should also not forget that you have your own resources and your own contact. Typically for Japan, we have a very good reputation in Japan. We've been doing executive training with most of the big corporations. We have a very strong alumni club there. So let's say IMD is already well known. So that's helpful, but obviously we don't have as much network as you have. So that's always good to continue and share good relationships with your former employers and your network, so that you can also tap into that. Voilà, so that was just a bit about careers, but we can get back to it later. But that was for the mainstream. And I think, yeah, as you see, there is then a summer break in the month of July. So some people use it to work on projects. Some, what we encourage is really to relax and maybe enjoy Europe, go and tour, take some time so that when you come back, you are refreshed. Okay. This is this year's class of 2022. Here are some facts on the class. As I said before, 2-to-1 MBA faculty ratio. On average, our MBAs are 30 years old. We have 39 nationalities, and they have 7 years of prior work experience on average. Again, averages don't mean much. That means some people are younger, some people are older. So you can also find ranges on our website. But basically, the requirement is 2 years minimum, and I would say up to 10 years of experience. So that would be the range. If you look at the industry split, that's also important when you choose an MBA to say, who do I want to study with? You know? And some schools have different splits in terms of industries. So for us, you can see that it's rather well distributed with a little emphasis on manufacturing. So almost 30% of the class has a manufacturing background, and then it's split evenly across the other industries. Some schools have like 40% consultants. Some schools have more 40% financial services. So depending on what you want, that could be also an element to select a school. In terms of the geographical distribution, we have the majority, let's say a third would come from Europe, another third from Asia, and then 10% North America, Latin America, and Africa, Middle East. So again, we're about 100 in the class, 39 nationalities. So there is a strong opportunity to really expand your understanding of international business. This is just more as a fun fact. Some of the nationalities that are represented this year, obviously this changes, but I'm always happy when I see some unusual nationalities like Azerbaijan or Ghana. We also have last January from Uruguay. So these are all opportunities to discover part of the world through your classmates. Just a quick overview of our application process. So it's a two-phase process. First, you apply online. We are changing a lot for next year, the application process. So maybe what you have heard before is not current anymore. So the website is now updated. So please make sure you get the right information, but I have also summarized it here. So in your online application, will be asking to see your career achievements through your CV. Will be requiring GMAT or GRE. We are looking into other alternatives. I know the US schools with COVID, they have started, some of them, to remove GMAT GRE. Some of the other European schools are asking for internal tests or for the executive assessment. So we have not fully decided on that element yet, but we're also looking into what other schools are doing in alternatives. We'll also be looking at international exposure, and this sometimes for Japan is scary because people tell me, but I don't get the chance to meet with international people or context. So I mean, it's not a must, but if you have some, this is typically something to put forward in your application. So if you are working with international suppliers or clients or a boss or for an international company, you have studied abroad, quite a few of you have studied abroad, so make sure to put this forward. And then there is one essay and one recommendation letter. There is no more need for the English test because we've seen that it's not necessarily a testimony of what you can do then in terms of reading and speaking. So we will be assessing English through the rest of the assessment day. So once we see there is potential, we like your file, we'll be inviting you for an assessment day. And these will change. It used to be a 5-hour session online. We're trying to reduce it a bit, but basically it will still have one interview. Then there will be one big group exercise. And then you'll have opportunity also for Q&A either during the session or another session. So that can sound stressful, but it's actually a fun day. And you'll see, speaking to our current MBAs, that there is nothing much to prepare. I think it's just, we want to see how you act in a group. So that's the idea of the assessment day. I'm just giving you here one application deadline timeline, but we'll have, as of next year, application deadlines every month. So we're starting on 15th of January, and then it takes about 6 weeks until you get the final decision. So you could apply 15th of February, April, May, June, voila. We have some particular challenges in between, but all the dates are on the website. So that's just the timeline for the applications. Often I'm asked what we are looking for. So I would think there are 3 buckets: who you are as a person, what you have done so far, and where do you want to go. And in terms of who you are, we want to see people who have drive, they have ambition, that they are curious, that they are able to work with other people. So that would be important for us to see either in your CV, in your extracurricular activities, or just during the discussion in the assessment day. Then what you have done, it's split into 3 buckets. What is your leadership potential? So have you been promoted? How is your exposure to different departments, to different industries? And sometimes in Japan, we see that it's not easy to get new opportunities, titles at a young age, and we're also conscious of the cultural differences that they are in different countries. Again, the global mindset, and then the entrepreneurial spirit. So how do you, can you be creative? Can you challenge things? So that will be all assessed during the day. That's it for the official presentation. I can also, depending on your question, develop more. I know Amy told me you were also interested by the career perspective. So if you have any questions on that, happy to take them in the chat.
Yeah, thank you, Paulsen. So the next, we will move on to the student session. Yeah, so
Sure.
can you share the slide again? So
Which slide do you want to?
I think the deadline or the program slides.
Okay. Great. And has our MBA arrived in the?
Yes, I see the one panelist here.
Great. Yes, Andy's here.
Today.
Hello.
Great.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Andy. I don't know when you joined, if you have heard part of the presentation, but maybe you can briefly introduce yourself, what you were doing before, maybe why you chose IMD, and how has the experience been so far for you, and maybe what are your perspectives for the future, and then we can take any questions. Emi-san, is that fine for you?
Yeah, okay, of course. Yeah.
Please.
So nice to meet you, everyone. So I think some of you are participating through YouTube. So my name is Takahara Anzai. My classmates call me Andy as an English nickname. And I have 8 years work experience in the sporting goods industry. I worked for a Japanese sports maker and then experienced in several departments for 8 years, from sales, marketing, branding, and supply chain. And I was in charge of domestic and also global market, both of them. And after the comprehensive on-site operation experience, I'd like to pursue the management perspective and also more exposed to the international setting. So I started challenging MBA a few years ago, and then fortunately I got an offer from IMD 2021 November, and then my new journey started. And then so far, almost the program is approaching to the end. But I really expected for the IMD to acquire the soft skill, especially leadership soft skill, because I always felt the difficulty to work with different culture people and also people from different background. So I felt the importance of soft skill. So IMD's program is perfect to acquire these soft skills because we have 104 students. Class size is relatively small, but it's really diverse, like people from 39 nationalities. So you can definitely learn from our classmates and how to work together in a diverse setting. So, and then after the graduation, I'm still doing job hunting, but I really would like to apply my knowledge and experience, especially because I know the Japan market and also international markets. So I would like to combine both knowledge to for the next career. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, so we have a lot of questions from audience. So let's move on to the Q&A session. なので皆さん、在校生の方も日本人で来ていただいたので、なかなかね、日本人の在校生の方に直接質問できる機会もないかと思いますので、ご質問があればどんどん入れていただければと思います。そう、じゃあ、一番最初のご質問から伺っていきたいと思います。So the first question is the career after graduation. Is it difficult for international students to get a working visa at Switzerland after graduation?
Great. Thank you. I'll take that question and then I'll pass it on to Andy to complement with what he has experienced. So as I mentioned before, the objective of the career stream is really to help you understand what is your niche experience, or what is your unique value proposition. So looking at yourself like a product, and what can you offer to companies. As non-Europeans, the companies, maybe in Switzerland or anywhere else in Europe, will have to prove to the government that there is nobody else with the same skill set that can do this job. For that, so that they can sponsor a visa. So for this, it is important that you understand what you can offer and start making links with companies who could need your expertise. Typically, we see quite a few Japanese. We have some Japanese company here, like Japan Tobacco or Takeda in healthcare. So you could say, okay, can I target Japanese company who have headquarters or who have offices in Europe? And so I would make sense because I know the Japanese culture, but I've been educated in Europe. So this would be my value proposition. That would be one approach. Another approach would say, okay, I would love to change all three dimensions, geography, function, and industry. But maybe geography is my preferred, let's say, priority. So that means you still need to have something to offer to the European companies. So maybe you stay in the same industry or you stay in the same function, but you bring this expertise to a European company. So maybe some, typically, I don't know, I'm thinking of the beauty industry or FMCG or even manufacturing. Maybe there are some European companies who don't know how to enter the Japan market. So that's your expertise because you could be the link between them. So I think that's what we will be working with you, because obviously you can't say, oh, I don't know anything about marketing. I don't know anything about healthcare and I don't have the right visa. Why don't you hire me? I don't think they're going to be very impressed by that. So you really need to work on what you have to offer. And broadly, then I give it back to Andy. Broadly, what I've experienced in the past is, so 70% of our class stays in Europe. As I mentioned before, about 35 are Europeans. So there is still a 40% or 35% that are non-Europeans and that manage to move. Some Europeans go abroad as well. But generally for Asia in particular, I see that about 40 to 50% manage to relocate, to change country. To relocate from a continent. So about 40 to 50%. Some manage, some don't, and that would really depend on your expertise and what you have to offer, and obviously your English level. Andy.
Okay, thank you. はい、ありがとうございます。
You can also answer in Japanese if you want.
ちょっとQ&Aは日本語で、せっかくなので、現地でとかヨーロッパで就職したいみたいな方も最近多いので、なんか実際皆さんそのあたり、どういう思考の方がいるのかとか、どういうふうにされているのかっていうのを、ちょっと今アドミッションの方からお答えいただいたのも後で日本語で言おうと思うんですけど。
はい、わかりました。今、ほぼパオラがカバーしてくれてたと思うんですけど、それに加えて私の経験から、今まさにジョブハンティングをしている経験から言うと、結構企業の方で MBA 生を対象としたポジションを応募する企業があるので、そういった企業に関してはロケーション問わずにMBA 生を採用してワークパーミットを出している傾向があります。で、2つ目に関してはパワラも触れてたんですけど、今までのその経験、やってきたことと、あとはその相手先の企業が欲しい人材であるかというところがマッチしたときには今までそのワークパーミット出してなかったっていう企業だとしても企業側からこの人が欲しいっていう強い要望を持ってワークパーミットのプロセスに入ることがあるので、必ずしも日本人だからこっちで 働くのは難しいっていうのはないと思います。
ありがとうございます。そうですね。今、在校生の方おっしゃってくださったんですけど、アドミッションの方も、スイスプラスあとヨーロッパですかね。そういうふうに大陸というか、国というよりもヨーロッパで就職するみたいな形にされる方は結構全体の4、50% くらいあるっておっしゃってて、特にアドミッションの方がおっしゃってたのは、インダストリーは同じで、ロケーションを変えるっていうのは一番、もちろん簡単というかやりやすい、スムーズだよっておっしゃってたんですけど、はい。なので、現地でそのまま働く方もいらっしゃるってことですね。ちなみにちょっとせっかくなんで、在校生の、日本人としてっていうか、これ今日本人の方が多く見てるので、今のはちょっと現地での就職っていう文脈だったんですけれど、就職活動全般でいうと皆さんどういうふうにされてるんですか？結構アメリカだとちょうど11月にあったボストンキャリアフォーラムに参加されてる方とか、あとキャンパスリクルーティングとかもちろんあると思うんですけど。
はい。そうですね。キャンパスリクルーティングが、9月ぐらいから始まりまして、で、そこから各生徒が受け出すっていうのが基本的なんですけど、あとは在校生と、卒業生のコネクションがすごい強いので、クラスメートの中でもう特定の企業に興味があるクラスメートはアルムナイ、卒業生の方に連絡を取って、コネクションを作って、そこからハイアリングマネージャーにレジュメを見てもらったりとか、結構直接的なやり取りが多いと思います。
それはすごいですね。ちなみに日本人の方はどのぐらいいらっしゃるんですか？
今は7名いますね。
結構いるんですね。104
そうですね。
分の
104人中の、はい、7名です。
ありがとうございます。じゃあちょっとご質問も交えつついきますかね。ちょっと先に日本スペシフィックな話で在校生の方に伺おうと思うんですけれど、日本からさっきMBA にしては結構特徴的だなと思ったんですけども、インダストリーが製造業っていうかね、製造業の方が、とかメーカーの方が割合として多いっていうのがあったんですけど、その私費の方っていうのは結構いらっしゃるんですかね。なんか社費の人向けみたいな風なイメージを持っている方も結構多いみたいなんですけど。
そうですね。今年に関しては、7名中半分ぐらいは、私費で来てますね。はい。
なるほど。ありがとうございます。そうしたらですね。あとは、ちょっと先になんか日本人の方が聞きたそうなところだけ聞いちゃうと思いますけど、どういうところに住むのか、寮があるのかとか、あとは、家族で行きたいという方も最近ご家族を連れて行きたいという方も多いんですけど、家族で行ってる方もいるのかということを、そこはいかがでしょう？生活面みたいなところですね。
今年、その日本人の7名の中で言うと、私とあともう一人含めて、夫婦で来てるメンバーもいます。子供を連れてきてるっていうメンバーはいないんですけど、家族で、来るケースもあるので、そこは安心していただいて大丈夫だと思います。で、住むところに関しては、学校と、そのアパートの会社がつながっているので、そこを通して、本当に学校の近くにアパートがいろいろあるんですけど、そこの部屋を、そこの部屋に住むっていうのが結構基本的な感じですね。
なるほど。ありがとうございます。そうしたらですね、ちょっと一般的なというか全体的な質問の方に行きたいと思いますが、MBA とミドルキャリアでプログラムは変わりますか？35歳ですが、どちらがおすすめでしょうか？皆さん卒業後はどの国で就職されている方が多いですかということですね。So, the question is about selecting the program. So, is there any difference between MBA program and middle career program? And the audience is 35 years old. So do you have any recommendation for the applicant? Also, which country is the most popular after graduation, where they get their job after graduation?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the two programs that we have, the executive MBA and the full-time MBA, the executive MBA is as of 10 years of work experience. So if the person has 5 years of work experience, that would typically be more adapted to the full-time MBA. And then for the second question on the most popular country, so I mean, once people experience Switzerland, generally they like to stay here. So it's you can ask Andy. I'm sure he will agree with me. But it's the quality of life in Switzerland and the nature. We had a chat before, and he said it's very similar to Japan in terms of security, in terms of respect, cleanliness, being on time, things function. But at the same time, you have a lot access to nature, a bit more in the cities, and it's smaller, it's quieter. So generally, people try and stay in Switzerland. A lot of the corporate offices are in Switzerland. So you would have all the healthcare company, the medtech company. You have a lot of FMCG company, manufacturing as well, and the trading, the finance. So there are a lot of industries in Switzerland that are active. Else in Europe, generally the UK, if we still consider it Europe. So London is popular, then the Netherlands, because they also are quite open for international students or employees. And then you would have France and Germany as the other popular, I would say. Or maybe, Andy, you have other. Singapore is also a popular place to go. Yeah, I don't know, Andy, if you have other views on that.
Thank you. なので、スイスでそのまま就職するのを目指すっていう方も多いそうですね。スイスは日本と比較的、安全性とか、清潔な感じとか、あとは皆さん結構時間に、なんでしょう、きっちりしてるとか、日本と少し似てるとこがあるんですかね。ちょっとスイスは行ってみたいんですけど、実は行ったことがないんですが、そういうので結構日本人の方はスイスとか目指す方も多いということで、あとヨーロッパだと UK ですかね、ロンドンとか、あとオランダも結構インターナショナルな、在校生に割と働きやすいというか、職が得やすいということで、オランダとかに行く方もいるっておっしゃってましたね。安西さんどうでしょうか？なんかありますか？皆さん、どういう思考の方が多いんですかね？
そうですね。ロケーションとしては、もう本当に今おっしゃっていただいたようなところだと思うんですけど、あとはヨーロッパで行くと、ドイツとか、あとルクセンブルクっていうところも人気だったりしますね。はい。アジア圏だとシンガポールで、中東で行くとドバイとかも入っていますね。
ちなみに先ほどなんで IMD に来たかみたいなIMD の特徴も含めてお話しいただいたんですけど、皆さんなんかどういう理由でスイスっていうのを選ばれるんですか？お話伺っているとプログラム自体もさっきのすごいファカルティとスチューデントレシオがスチューデントファカルティが2対1ぐらいとかっておっしゃっていて、すごいなんかタイトニットなコミュニティなんだなと思ったんですけど、なんかロケーションとしてスイスっていうのは皆さんどういう目的で来られる方が多いんですかね？
そうですね。理由は結構様々だと思うんですけど、本当に住みやすいとか、日本と似てるところがあるとかっていうのもあると思うんですけど、私の場合はその前職の時にスイスに関わる仕事をさせていただいてたので、そこから興味を持ったっていうのもありますね。
なるほど。ありがとうございます。ですね。あとは、そうですね。さっき、ラボラトリーとかっていうのがあったんですけど、ちょっとそれについて聞きたいと思うんですけども、So, Paula-san, I saw in the slide there is a lot of the classes regarding each categories, and there is some lab, some digital lab. Could you let us know the detail for each categories?
Sure, but maybe Andy, it's best if you talk about it, because you have we change the labs every year, so Andy has the latest one, so maybe you can tell us about that.
Okay, yeah, sure. So Japanese is better.
English, so I can understand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So yeah, actually, so once in a year, we have a digital week. We focus on enhancing our digital literacy. And then this year, we worked on the data analysis. So how to solve the complex issue with analyzing tons of data. So I think each year has a different topic, but this year is focusing on data analysis. And it's really interesting, especially for me, because I have no tech background. And then I could see how the data scientists or engineers work on in the digital field. Yes.
And you had to develop a program to be able to clean the data first. Was that you had to code the program, no?
So this year we had to clean the data, and then actually it's not coding. Yeah, this year.
Okay, clean the data first. Yeah. So it's true that big data now is a big topic, and so that's a good opportunity to see it, because every company collects more and more data, but very few know what to do with them. So that was an introduction for the MBAs to understand, okay, if I have a data scientist team, how do I use them interestingly for me to then be able to take decisions or to make up my strategy? So that was the idea of the digital lab. And maybe the innovation lab, I mentioned design thinking. What was your topic this year, Andy?
Yeah, so this year's topic is how to make the idea to real business model. So we worked with the venture accelerator organization. So that organization is the bridge between venture capital and also startup company. So we worked on the organization issue, and then we come up with ideas how to make the idea to the real business model to help like a startup launch. Yes.
So you had a week to come up with the business idea, basically, or business model.
Yes.
Thank you. なので、かなり実践的な、コーディングまでは出ないって言ってましたけど、テクノロジーのところとかもかなり入ってたり、実際、企業、ビジネスプランを作ってみたいなところやられてるっていうのをおっしゃってたんですけど、企業志向みたいな方もいらっしゃるんですかね。
そうですね。まさにスタートアップを自分で立ち上げていきたいというクラスメートも多いですし、今年はスタートアップアワードみたいな形で、クラスメートの中から一人、金銭的な補助を受けて、実際に卒業後、スタートアップを起業される生徒も一人いますね。
それは、日本人ではない方。
それはアメリカの方ですね。
アメリカの方。すごいですね。その起業のっていうのは、さっきあった、ちょっとスライドが今出てないんですけど、なんか各カテゴリーで、いろんなラボとか、アントレプレナーシップとかあったんですけど、それは必修で皆さんやられるんですか？それぞれ。
それは、はい、必修になりますね。
そうなんですね。なんか起業はね、結構、エレクティブで、なんかやりたい人はどうぞみたいなのは多いと思うんですけど、皆さんそれをやるんですね。
そうですね。アントレプレナーシップの授業がありますね。
いいですね。ありがとうございます。そうしたら、ちょっと最後に、一番最後に、在校生の方とアドミッションの方とコメントいただこうと思うんですけど、ちょっとアプリケーションのところだけ最後に見ていきたいと思います。So, Paolo-san, could you share the slides that where the application deadline and the application process is in it? Yeah, thank you. So, your program doesn't have the GMAT waiver at this moment, doesn't it?
Exactly, not at the moment, yeah.
Okay. はい。なので GMAT とかね、ウェイバー最近多かったりするので、あとエグゼクティブアセスメントとか、一応検討するということはおっしゃってたんですけど、今の時点では GMAT が必要で、ただ、but applicant doesn't need to submit the test score in English, like TOEFL or IELTS.
No, exactly.
はい。なので、英語のスコアはいらないで、GMAT だけで受けられるっていうことですね。で、次のアプリケーションデッドラインが1月の15日。で、プログラムのスタートは1月。ただ、始まる前にちょっとプレコースというのかですね、があるというのは、プログラムのところに書いてあったんですけど、一応プログラム自体のスタートが1月からで1年間というふうになっております。なので、次1月の15日で、GMAT があるので、GMAT しっかり勉強してっていう方は、アルファでも大体半年とかぐらいで結構勉強されているので、今から急いで勉強して、まずは1月の15日に間に合わせたいっていう方もいますし、その次のラウンドで出せる方もいると思いますので、ぜひ皆さん、ご興味がある方はいつでもご相談いただければ、アドミッションの方とかにもおつなぎしてますし、テスト対策もアプリケーション対策もアルファでやってますので、いつでもご相談ください。So,
Can I add something on the application that I really think sometimes applicants are scared of admissions employees, and they only contact me once they have done 6 times the GMAT and they're desperate and they're ashamed, or maybe my GMAT is not good enough or so. So I always tell them I'm here to help you. So really feel free to contact me, and Amy-san, you can then give them my contact details. I have also a link to book a call. And typically with Andy, we've been in touch for 1.5 years, and we had this like monthly or bi-monthly discussions on his objective, his application. So that's really the objective, and we are here for you. So don't, even if you're not fully ready, reach out to me, we discuss, we see what you can strengthen, and we can have this discussion. And it's not an interview, it's just a discussion.
Thank you so much. なので、今日セッションを経てね、結構皆さんも感じられたかもしれないんですけども、すごくやっぱり雰囲気が柔らかい、サポーティブな感じがね、伝わってるかなと思いますけれども、アドミッションの方も恐れずにですね、ぜひコンタクトして、皆さんをね、一応合格に向けて、特にコミットメントある方なんかはサポートするためにアドミッションの方もいらっしゃるということなので、アルファにご連絡いただけばですね、なんか一応脳準備でアドミッションの方に突っ込んでいくよりは、しっかりキャリアゴールとか、なんでじゃあ IMD 行きたいのかっていうところを、ある程度整理してからお話しされるととてもいいかなと思いますし、完全に準備ができてなくても、まずはね、相談してっていうことなので、ぜひそのあたりも、うまくですね、アドミッションの方と、会話をしながら準備をしていけると思いますし、いつでも、まずはアルファにご相談をいただければと思います。じゃあ最後に在校生の方とアドミッションの方に、一応コメントをいただいて終わろうかなと思います。So at the end of this webinar, I would like you to let us know the ending remarks. So for the student first.
Okay.
はい、お願いします。
Yeah, so actually, I can say it's not the easy way, like a path to apply MBA and also achieve the MBA entry. However, it really works. So that's what I can say. And then the journey here MBA is very, very amazing. So please hang in there if you're struggle right now, but it will be fruitful in the end. So yeah, thank you very much for today.
Yeah, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, I think ending words. I've been following Japanese applicants for the last 7 years, and I'm very impressed by the perseverance and the drive that I see in these applicants. So I want to congratulate you first on that, and my colleagues who don't take care of Japan. They're jealous of my Japanese applicants because they say, your applicants are so structured and they do things so well. So thank you for that. And I'm also very happy to see so much change going on in Japan, from more Japanese women applying, people wanting to change companies more often, having ambitions for themselves to try something new. So I think the MBA is really an opportunity to get out of your comfort zone and to be exposed to other ideas and other people. So I think if you're interested in MBA, well done for that. And again, happy to discuss your individual plans with you.
Thank you so much. なので、日本人の方はですね、アプリカントの方優秀ですし、あとは、女性の方とか、あとは日本人でも、最近ね、ジョブ型とか、転職も回数多い方増えてますけれども、なんか一つの企業に入って最後までずっと、その企業で終身雇用でっていうよりは、やっぱり途中でキャリアチェンジで、MBA をしっかり取って、グローバルキャリアにシフトしたいみたいな方もいますので、そういう方も本当にぜひ、ウェルカムということで、いろいろアドミッションの方にもね、かなりご相談、サポートしていただける学校だと思いますし、まずはキャリアプランを相談したいとかですね、IMD 興味あるみたいな方は、アルファにご相談いただければ、いきなり英語でアドミッションの方に突っ込んでいくのも難しい方も多いと思いますので、まずはご相談いただいて、キャリアプランとか、レジュメとかですね、作って、アドミッションの方に、ご紹介もできますので、いつでもご相談いただければと思います。はい。ということで、皆さんご視聴ありがとうございました。あと、thank you for your time and great presentation and great panelist talking.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. ということで、こちらで失礼したいと思います。